Good day. This is Brother Medina for Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist. And please let us start with a word of prayer. Gracious, loving Father, do give us your Holy Spirit that we may speak the truth and nothing but the truth, to exalt your name, to glorify you, and to save people. In Jesus' holy name we pray, with thanksgiving unto thee. Amen. Well, we are continuing our discussion on vaccination. Yes, my dear people. And we want you to understand very carefully what we are saying. We want you to see exactly what happens when in the ingredients identified in the vaccines are placed in your bodies. Yes, my dear people. They are not without consequences. And these consequences are what we in our church call VRI, which is the short for vaccine-related illnesses. Illnesses that comes from vaccination. The illnesses may come as soon as the child is vaccinated, or years after the child has been vaccinated, or in the later years of the person as they're getting older. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter how soon or how much later these effects or events come. The point is they are originated in vaccination. And there are many thousands of pages of documents done by institutions, by different scientists, that prove the things we are saying right now. These documents are available on the web. You can research and find them yourselves. It is just that many times they are blocked and you have to find a way to get around them. Yes, my dear people, some bodies, plural, do not want us to know the deleterious effects of vaccination upon the body. And they give us the usual phrase, oh, it is so good for your body. It ends diseases. It has gotten rid of a large amount of pandemics that took place in the past. But this, my dear people, is not true. Many of those pandemics were coming to its end through learning techniques of hygiene that was taught to the population in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. And this type of hygiene brought to an end many of these pandemics. And it is at that time that vaccination was introduced. There are no scientific graphs that are genuine, that are true, that is according to history, that shows vaccination stopped any pandemic. Let me give you a scenario here, and we want you to think very carefully. Listen to me very carefully and think. If a person catches a virus that is destructive to their body, the virus is in their body, flowing around in their blood and so on. But then the body releases cells to gobble up those viruses in the bloodstream. The body releases antibodies to gobble up those viruses. It would mean that your immune system is fighting back against the virus. Yes, my dear people. This is what sometimes causes high fevers and other discomforts, swelling in the lymph nodes, etc. This is because your body is responding with antibodies to an invasion of viruses in your body. So you get sick. Getting sick means your body is responding, it's fighting back. Sometimes your body is not healthy enough to fight back, but it is fighting back. And the fighting back comes from your immune system that God gave to you as part of your body processes. Now that you have that virus in you and your body is already releasing antibodies, do you think a doctor injecting you with a vaccine will help you to become much more better? That's the myth they propagate. But just think about it yourself. In the solution in the vaccine are antibodies. In the solution of the vaccine are heavy, dangerous metals, also detergents, all that is in this solution. In the vaccine also is found the same virus but attenuated, meaning they have removed certain genetic material from within the virus that the virus cannot be harmful to you. That's what they say. They do not touch about mutation, because mutation is a terrible problem of these attenuated virus, but they don't tell you about that. So they put that attenuated virus in your body. Why did they do that? They do it to make your immune system recognize that virus, release antibodies to gobble up those viruses of that attenuated kind, and so with those antibodies flowing in your blood many years, they hope that if the real virus comes within your body will already have antibodies to deal with it. That's the theory of vaccines working. But notice the person already have the real virus in them. So if you put an attenuated form of the virus, now the person has two of the same type of virus to fight off. Your immune system have two types of the same virus to fight off. It has the real virus and it has the attenuated virus. It has to release antibodies for this. But notice from the virus first you already got sick. And the sickness there means your body is fighting back. So likewise, from the attenuated virus, your body gets sick to fight back too. How is that helpful to you? You already have the real virus in your system. Why put a false one with the same coat of the real virus to trick your immune system to think it is the bad virus when the bad virus is already there? So the idea that a person is sick from a virus, you see it in the movies, and they actually put a vaccine in you, which is the same virus attenuated, that your body's immune system will produce antibodies to deal with it, is false, is senseless. Because your body is already releasing antibodies to deal with the real virus. So the false form of the virus can't be of any help to you. But yet they show you this in the movies over and over to make you think vaccine is the solution to everything. But when you understand how vaccination works, you can see if that is false. That idea is false. And this is the reason why you have to be careful. You have to think about these things and get your ideas clear. Doctors themselves, when they pursue studies to be efficient and good doctors, do not study vaccination in the sense of what are in the vaccines, the toxicity of the ingredients in the vaccine, how they work, and so on. That's not their line of study. In taking their doctoral courses or their medical courses, it does not include that. So they cannot tell you. They cannot show you except to do individual reading. But most often, they follow the line of the pharmaceutical corporations, of the drug corporations, especially as many of them have been paid to do this. And you must remember that most of those top drug corporations have been fined millions and millions of dollars for collusion with doctors in overstating the workableness of these vaccines and drugs, for overstating the efficacy of those vaccines and drugs. They have been charged for false studies, lying to the public. They have been charged for fraud. Remember, this happened in the past. So are you going to trust them when God gave you your body to take care of? All this is telling us that you must have religious exemptions from vaccinations if you so choose, and that it must not be forced upon a person by any form of legislation or by denying your children access to education if they are not vaccinated. This is so wrong when you look at the whole thing. The very theory of how the thing works is problematic, because the immune system is not just that simple as it presented there. That is the old knowledge about the immune system. But the immune system is a more complicated thing and doesn't always work that way. You see, there are ingredients in these vaccines that are very, very destructive to the human body. Let me tell you something, my dear brethren. I am reading something here from a book here for you, Vaccine Primer and Inoculation by Elliot Fried. I quote, "The first ingredient we must consider is the pathogens themselves. As described earlier, vaccine manufacture creates mutated pathogens that are often more potent and damaging, even deadly. So when they make the virus, they use the coat, like how you have clothes on, they use the coat of the real virus, but within the genetic information have been modified somewhat. And these become more deadly, especially if they mutate those viruses. Are you going to take a chance to put that in your body? When your body begins to manufacture antibodies to deal with those modified viruses, do you know that is what it means to get sick? Because your body recognizes an invasion, and then your body have to deal with the invasion. How so? Deal with the invasion by producing antibodies to gobble up or to destroy those mutated or those attenuated viruses in the vaccine. Your body have to get sick, therefore, to deal with them. Vaccine works by making you get sick with a mutated or changed form of the virus, so that when the real virus comes, as you get sick, it destroys those viruses, or it prevents those viruses. That theory is ridiculous. Because if the real virus comes in, you're still going to get sick. Your body will still have to produce immune systems, antibodies, to deal with that real virus. Even though some of those antibodies are in your bloodstream already, you still is going to get sick. You're still going to get sick as those antibodies multiply to deal with those invading of the real wild virus. So this is the reason why when some people get vaccinated, they still get the virus and they still get sick. Because vaccination is supposed to work by making you get sick so that you wouldn't get sick later if the real virus comes into your body. The whole theory is wrong. And you see, those viruses don't come into your body via a cut in your arm or in your shoulder directly into your bloodstream. They have to go through your mouth and be confronted with the mucus there and the saliva there and other blocks there, or it has to go through your nostrils and be confronted with the hairs in your nostrils and sometimes mucus there, and all these have a part to play in making the virus itself become incapable of affecting you in a bad way, except it passed those barriers. But here they put it directly into your bloodstream. This is not the way viruses come into your body, except you get a cut and somehow the virus gets directly there. This doesn't happen to people so. But this is not the way these viruses get into your body. It does not go directly to your bloodstream naturally. But vaccines do put them in your bloodstream one time, straight into your bloodstream. But when the virus comes into your body, the real bad virus from the wild, it is not accompanied with formaldehyde, polysorbate, mercury, aluminum, monkey kidney cells, fetal cells from aborted babies, and all other little portions of retroviruses and other bad things. It does not come with all of that. So they are burdening the body with all of those things and then tell you that it is safe to take these things and it is helpful. If even so, if you want to think so, it's your choice. But do not force it upon others who don't want it. You and I know very well that all drugs have side effects. You look on the television, they are advertising a new product, a new drug, and they give you a readout of the side effects, some of them so dangerous and deadly, you ask yourself, why even take it? Those are the side effects from some of those drugs. Vaccines are just drugs also, but drugs that are put into your body directly into your bloodstream. Why then do you say they do not have side effects? Why do you let authorities tell you the side effects are so mild and not so bad and that it is okay? They do not mark laws or draft laws for you to take Advil, for you to take Panadol, for you to take other drugs. They do not write laws to force you to take it. Then why do that for vaccination? When you see these things, you know that there is something there you need to look at and to be careful and to exercise your religious liberty, your liberty of conscience, your freedom of choice. Yes, my dear people. You see, I continue to read here. It tells us, it says this: instead, we will accept that vaccines contain manufactured pathogens. This means they are causing the disease, but in an unusual, mutated way. So they will cause you to get sick, to deal with the kind of virus that they put in you in its attenuated form. More recently, genetic engineering has been used to create vaccine pathogens, and this DNA can be found in some vaccines. Another concern regarding vaccine pathogens is that they give many diseases at once. Anybody getting whooping cough, diphtheria, and tetanus all at once would be hard-pressed to recover fully. Did you see that? Add in measles, mumps, rubella, polio, a dozen other influenza viruses, hepatitis B, and some meningococcal viruses, and it is quite a soup of disease indeed that doctors are injecting into infants or toddlers all at once. So think about that. They give you the attenuated form of mumps virus, measles virus, rubella virus, tetanus virus. Notice what they're doing: whooping cough virus, diphtheria virus. Does anybody get all those viruses at the same time? No. No, you don't. But when you vaccinate the people, you're giving them all those viruses at the same time, which is not natural in nature. And their body have to produce antibodies to deal with each of those 6 viruses put directly into their bloodstream, which didn't come through their nostrils or through their mouth. Did you just see what we are telling you here? And guess what's the latest news? The Food and Drug Administration in the United States has okayed a 6-in-1 vaccine. 6 different shots in one vaccine, which is to come on stream sometime this year. This is getting worse and worse. And this is what they're doing. Let me continue to read. With vaccines, we often give multiple shots at once. We have heard stories of many as 20 being given to an infant in one visit. Of course, certainly. 5 to 10 shots is not uncommon. If each shot contains an average of 3 pathogens, this means doctors are regularly giving infant children 15 to 30 diseases all at once. Yes, my dear people, you're getting all of that at once, which is not natural, which doesn't happen that normal way in nature. You don't get 30 different viruses at the same time and directly into your bloodstream. Why then take this risk? Why do they then call this health? This is absurd. And to add, each of these vaccines are coming into your body with deadly heavy metals, which are not supposed to be in your body at all. Yes, my dear people. When you see a 2-month-old, previously healthy babies, within hours, sometimes even minutes to receiving vaccines, begin swelling up from liver and kidney failure, covered in rashes and bleeding sores, discharging the most foul-smelling feces, and aching their backs in screaming pain with high fever enough to kill, as they are on their way to an imminent death, it is not hard to suppose that they have just gotten a number of diseases all at once, possibly even compounded with unnatural additions like the most toxic metal known to humanity, radiator fluid, and more. Yes, my dear people, all of these things are in vaccines. Antifreeze are in vaccines too. They're all there. Oh, they will say, well, they're just in trace amounts. Listen, scientific documents are shown trace amounts are even deadly to the human body. They're very, very deadly to the human body. But these are the things that happen. These are the horrible things that happen. It's definitely not good for you. Yes, my dear people. And there are other even worse ingredients that we have to come and show you. But when you see those ingredients come into the baby and the baby begins to respond in that way, you know that death is imminent in the baby. How was this book able to describe this kind of thing that happens to babies sometimes with the foul-smelling faces, the arcing of the back, the screaming pain, the high fevers, the swelling of the kidneys, and so on, and the swelling up of the liver, and the head swelling up? Because it has been seen happening over and over again. These are documented scientific facts. But the mainstream media and governments, which are now tied into these things, won't tell you these things. They don't want to scare you. Could you imagine this? The government make drugs available by purchasing them from drug corporations. They make vaccines available also, which is another type of drugs. They do not enforce the other drugs they make available, but they want to enforce the vaccination. Something going directly into your bloodstream. Does that make sense? No. All over the world, they are taking away your exemption, your religious exemption by legislation. All over the world, they are doing that. But they don't do it for the other drugs, only for the vaccination. So in other words, what causes people to have to take it, the vaccination, is not choice or their consciences or their understanding like it happens to other drugs, if they do understand. What causes them to have to take the vaccine is forced by government. Why does the government therefore have a role to play in the vaccination part and not a role to play in the other drugs? And they always come with this theory because vaccination has prevented terrible outbreaks from happening. Not so. These outbreaks in the past died down before vaccinations were introduced. And when the vaccinations were introduced, charts show the diseases spiking again before your body eventually gets rid of it. Yes, my dear people. So don't be fooled by propaganda. Ask yourself the question, why are you telling me that I do not have to take Advil by force, or Panadol by force, or this other drug by force? But why do I have to take vaccination by force, which is a drug also? Why do I have to do that? Why do government have to get involved in that part and not the other part? It is a sign of great, terrible things that were done in the past by the corporations and by colluding politicians. And this is how now it has come to us, to affect us. But you must remember this. We ought to obey God rather than man. Your scriptures tell you. Your body belongs to God. Your scriptures tell you. You're purchased with the life of Christ. The scriptures tell you. You have to appear before the judgment seat of God to give an account to the things done in your body. You are responsible for your body. It's a matter of judgment before God. It is a religious issue. Therefore, you need religious exemption. Let your politician know that. Let your doctor know that. Get your lawyer letter. Let the Ministry of Health know that. Let the principal of the schools know that. Stand for your religious liberty. And stand and fight for what you know is right. Yes, my dear people. So, in closing, if anyone wants this program, call us at 625-0446. 625-0446 will give you this program and others that went before. And may God bless you with the right choice, with the right decision, with the understanding of the facts. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.